What's up guys, MrGimms back again, and today I want to continue my deep dive into the Resident Evil Dead by Daylight chapter theory that I built on already. And that's right, it's an original idea. I've had a couple people in the comments say like, oh, well, Space Coconut and Schmuckles, I think, came up with this idea days ago. And I'm just like, isn't it crazy that another content creator can come up with the same thoughts and opinions and theories on something as somebody else? What a crazy world. Two people might think the same thing. Yeah, I don't know who or what a Schmuckles is, and I don't watch Space Coconut. This is a theory completely made by myself and my community, because my community talk to me and send me things and things like that. So it's just my theory and opinion. I'm not a unique, beautiful snowflake, and neither are they. We're just content creators doing our jobs. Okay? With that out of the way, I want to deep dive into further reasons why I think it's still going to be the sisters out of Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil's latest game, and just why it makes more sense to be in the game for Dead by Daylight. I understand people want their favorites in the game. I understand that it's important to them to be represented with those characters. Unfortunately, we live in a world where it may not be good business. So I've come up with a few reasons why, as well as a comment and a conversation from somebody who is a member in my community, a pretty know-it-all guy when it comes to Resident Evil as well, and some interesting opinions out of him as well. But anyway, my first point goes back to my first video where it's good business. Resident Evil are trying to plug their latest game, Resident Evil 8. It makes complete sense to use the characters or character from that game itself, this being the sisters. Makes complete sense, has a unique power. The 5 leads to the sickle that they do use as their primary weapon when they're dragging Ethan Winters. It's pretty cool. I really hope if they do come in, then that's sort of in their arsenal of powers. I think that's really cool when they drag. But that's my first point. It's just good business. Point number 2 is it's up to Capcom who they give over. A lot of people just assume that Capcom will give over their massive killer properties. It's a lot about trust, guys. I mean, Resident Evil know what Dead by Daylight are. They know of behavior, obviously. But they also know everything else that comes with it. They might know that Dead by Daylight has a history of sort of botching things up. They may not feel completely comfortable with giving over a massive property like, you know, Birkin or Tyrant or whatever the hell they're called, Mr. X. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan yet. They might not feel completely comfortable giving over a massive license. I mean, that makes complete sense, especially when it's their first outing giving something to another game. That's just my opinion. The sisters again tick this box to me. It's a new character. It's sort of a side sort of a thing. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't necessarily matter to the ongoing story of Resident Evil, and it can also fit in, and that comes into point number 3. Everyone keeps saying, guys, MrGimms, it's Resident Evil's 25th anniversary. It's got nothing to do with DBD. The fact that it's Resident Evil's 25th anniversary. That's got something to do with Resident Evil. That's their thing. People are using the 25th anniversary to say that we're definitely getting something like Mr. X or Birkin or something like that. They wouldn't just give over something like the sisters for their 25th anniversary. I gotta close this point down. It's the 25th anniversary for Resident Evil. It's got nothing to do with Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is just a launching tool, in my opinion, to buy further copies of Resident Evil 8. And I want to go to Arakobia's comment as well. He's a member, as I said, of my community, and he dropped this on me, and it's just a good read, and I'm going to share it with you now. I know a lot of people also don't care about the lore, but Pixel Brush Entertainment did a really good video on why Mr. X or Nemesis would not make sense for the entity to take. It pretty much boils down to them both being created specifically by the Umbrella Corporation to fulfill a single task, outside of which they have no purpose, so it would not make sense why the entity would take them, unless Umbrella Corp gave them to the entity, like the Mind Flayer presumably gave the Demogorgon. The lore is also why I don't think it's Lady Dimitrescu. Sort of like the Mind Flayer in Stranger Things, she's already in control of her own little area. However, the witches are her servants, like Demogorgon serves the Mind Flayer, so they are already inclined to serve a being like the entity. Yeah, this completely makes sense to me, and it definitely fits inside the lore. Again, I don't want to say that the sisters don't matter, but they already serve somebody, Lady Dimitrescu, in that area. They already do her bidding. If one somehow got cut off and started serving the entity, that would make far more sense for me than something like a Mr. X or Nemesis would just all of a sudden serve the entity. It just, inside the lore, which lore really does matter to Dead by Daylight when it comes to their killers and their survivors, I guess, survivors. Yeah, it needs to serve a higher being, or it needs to get pushed off into a new narrative. I just don't know if anything else but the sisters out of Resident Evil really fit that, so this just further backs up my point. Again, I'm not saying I'm the be-all end-all, I'm just saying this backs up my point. Doesn't mean I'm right. Could still be wrong. My point number 5 and ending is that the sisters are a side character. A lot of people and myself thought it might be Lady Dimitrescu, but again, she's a really main big hitter of Resident Evil 8. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm more leaning to the sisters. Would I like Lady Dimitrescu to join Dead by Daylight? Sure. What guy wouldn't? But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be more of a servant type character. Somebody who, you know, has it in them to serve a higher purpose, and that's why I still think it's the sisters from Resident Evil 8. But anyway, guys, apart from that and the points I've made, you know, good business. It helps them promote their new game. It's got nothing to do with Resident Evil 25th anniversary. It fits the lore. It has the same weapon. There's a lot of things here that I think really do drive my points home. Thank you so much to Aracobia's comment as well in my YouTube. It was a really good read. I don't mind the long comments as long as, you know, they sort of make sense. I do appreciate that. Hope you don't mind me sharing this in my video. I did ask. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. That's about all I've got to share on this one. I still think it's the sisters. We're going to find out on the 25th all together. It's going to be awesome. And I just want to set a little reminder to everybody that I don't care who the killer is or the survivor is. I don't care. I'm not a massive Resident Evil fan. I only just started playing Zero, so to me it's a win-win no matter who we get. But I have that sort of thought process over every game. I'm happy with whatever I'm given. I'm not greedy. But anyway, guys, like the video if you like the video, and don't forget to share and subscribe. Also, consider joining me on Discord and Twitter to continue the conversation over there, and also stay up to date with the channel. I'm MrGimms. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters.